Welcome back. So in this lecture, I will introduce another topic which is frames. How to handle frames using Selenium. So let's try to do one example, and from that example we will try to understand the importance of frames and how do we handle that. Okay. Alright. So our goal is just to enter some characters in this edit box. Let's first of all build a script to do that. So we will do as what we gain knowledge till last lecture. Okay, so we'll build the script and we will fail, and from that failed scenario we will try to understand what is the issue and how to solve it. Okay, that's a good way to understand effectively. So I will create one new class. I would just say as Python file frames demo. Awesome. So let me get these two steps. Okay, so I will directly navigate to that particular site, driver.get Heroku app. Firstly, let's clear this content. Okay, and then we will start typing something. So right click, inspect, and this is your HTML property. This is exact para, but that edit box can be highlighted here with body ID. Okay, so let's write CSS, XPath, or directly ID to handle this. So let me build CSS. Tag name ID equals to, you can just say find element by dot ID also, it's up to you, or hash. This is direct, right? Perfect. One element matching dot find element by CSS selector, and pass that CSS selector. First I want to clear the content. After clearing, I want to just send the information into it. It's simple test. Same thing again. Send keys. I am able to automate. Perfect. So what happens when you run this test? Let's see. Right click, run frames demo. Okay, so your test is failed with an line number 8 saying that it could not find that specific CSS selector. But if you actually check your browser, it's clearly highlighting the CSS what we wrote is present in crow path, and when you hit an enter, it's exactly highlighting it. Then why we are not able to do it through Selenium? Because this entire edit box is in frames. So in development code, there is a scenario that people sometimes may inject their code in frames. Okay, so frames come on top over HTML. Selenium will have knowledge only on the HTML driver, but if there is a frame anything on it which comes on top of our browser, then by default your driver object will not have knowledge about that frames. So to check whether this content is in frames or not, if you investigate that HTML and if you carefully see the parent iframe, so whenever you see tag names like frame or iframe or frame set, these are the three different tags people generally use to declare frames. Iframe, sorry, and then frame set and frames. Whenever you see tag names like this, then that means there is a frame in your page. So this is the body ID, right? Now when you try to close this frame, let me show you that. Yeah, when you try to close this frame, automatically this ID which is present inside this frame is also getting closed. So that means we can confirm that this particular body is in frames. So if you just scroll over that, you see that that specific part is clearly telling that it's in frame. So for that, first of all, you have to switch to frame to handle that. It's just like how you have handled alerts and child windows. Remember, you used to say driver dot switch. You have seen how to handle alert, window as well, and now it's time to see about frame. So give dot, and you have to pass argument. You are saying that switch to frame, but which frame? You have to pass either frame ID. So this method will accept either frame ID or frame name or index value. Like when you say 0, then it will try to find the first frame in the application. So check whether developer have defined any ID or name to that frame. Yes, they did it. So this is the ID of your frame. So now carefully pass that into an argument. So that now we are clearly telling that first of all switch to that frame and then perform the operations like clear that edit box and then send I am able to automate text. Okay, and thereafter if I want to, one second, right, if I want to get text of this tag, I think h3 is the tag name, right? There is only one element matching, which is this. First let me run this test and show you what I am talking about. Run frames demo. Now it should switch to that frame and then it should successfully clear the data. You see that it switched to frame, cleared, and entered I am able to automate in that box. So this is one of the common interview question as well. People will ask you that your locator is correct, everything you have validated from your browser tools, but still Selenium is complaining that element is not found. What could be the reason? And you can just say that it may be in frames, that's the reason, and let me switch to that frame and handle it. Okay, so now we have successfully written edit text. Now I want to grab this text and print in the output. Okay, for that you know how to do that. We just got find element with the tag name h3, right, dot text print. Okay, so what will be the output? Will this fail or pass? Any guesses? Let's see. So we are trying to print the header text after we handle the frames. Okay, it failed. I hope most of you guessed by now, because your driver is not now in HTML regular driver. It has switched to frames. Now it's your duty to bring back your driver from frames to normal HTML. Okay, so now whatever you pass after you switch to frame, it will still search in that frame only. But this text is not frame, right? It's just outside and it's normal web HTML. But as you switched to that frame, driver do not have knowledge anything about your previous content. It's only searching it in the frame. So after your work is being done, whatever you want to do in frames, now you have to come back to your default content, like just like how you do driver for your browser. So for that you can say driver dot switch to default content. You see that this is the method which will bring you back to the normal HTML browser from frames, and thereafter when you try to print this text, you will see in the output. Okay, let's try that. This is simple but yet powerful concept, and it's frequently asked in automation interviews as well. Alright, so WebDriver, I think the dot should be here and underscore should be here, I think. Yeah. So this is the latest method, and they have deprecated the previous method. Perfect. So let's run this again, and this time it should work like a charm, and you have to see text in the output. Okay. Perfect. You see that an iframe containing TinyMCE editor. So this is how you can switch back to your default content and carry on your testing. Hope you understood why frames and how to switch to frames using Selenium. Make sure that you see tag names with either iframe, frame set or frame to verify whether your application is in frames or not. Alright, thank you.